Okay, so I kind of want to talk about how I was able to fund my clothing brand without any loans, without any credit, whatever the case was. I started my clothing brand when I was in college, so I had no money. My clothing brand is for tall women. It is called Alta. It's a tall girls clothing brand. And I started it my senior year of college when I was broke. I had no money, no job. I had nothing but just good grades. And so I was paying my rent from scholarships, refund checks, grants, things like that. But what I ended up doing was I saved up my money for about 2 months. My leftover money that I would have, that after I paid my rent, I would just save it up. And if you know anything about samples in a clothing brand, you know that samples are expensive. When I first started, I thought they were like trying to play me. I'm not gonna lie, but no, they are like $100. It can be to $200. I was doing sets, so my samples were like $200 per color. So it was expensive. And so yeah, I had like 4 different colors. I saved up. That's around $800 in samples, and they didn't all come out right. So I think I spent a total of like $1,000 maybe on samples. But yeah, so I saved up, I spent the money, and then I immediately made my Instagram. I started posting, promoting on TikTok, going crazy. I announced the drop date was like a month from when I promoted because I wanted to make sure I had enough time to promote. And then yeah, I dropped my first ever drop, which was a pre-order. I made sure everybody knew that. So it was a pre-order because again, I didn't have money to buy the inventory already like made, so I had to do a pre-order my first drop. By the grace of God, all glory to God, I was able to sell out my pre-order. And by selling out, I basically just capped the limit because I wanted to make sure I was being responsible and I was actually fulfilling the orders and make sure I was taking care of everybody. So yes, I did have a limit. And then my second drop, I basically invested the money that I made my first drop. I've only done 2 pre-orders for my whole entire brand since I've been having it for 2 years. And then yeah, basically after my first drop, I invested it into my brand, and that's how I just kept rolling. So yeah, I didn't have any loans, any help, any credit, none of that. I just really trusted in the Lord because it was hard, and I just dropped, and that's how I was able to fund my clothing brand without any money, any loans. This is really for anybody who, thinks it's kind of hard or impossible. It is hard, but it's not impossible.